เมืองเชฟฟิลด์นะคะเป็นเมืองใหญ่ที่ถูกจัดอันดับว่าเป็นเมืองที่ปลอดภัยมากที่สุดเมืองหนึ่งของประเทศอังกฤษเลยค่ะที่สำคัญนะคะเป็นเมืองที่ค่าครองชีพไม่แพงทำให้เมืองนี้นี่ติดอันดับ1ใน10ที่นักเรียนอังกฤษนิยมมาเรียนกันอีกด้วยในส่วนของมหาลัยเชฟฟิลด์นะคะนอกจากที่จะโด่งดังมากๆในเรื่องของ Engineering นะคะสาขา Business เนี่ยก็มีหลายหลักสูตรที่ดังไม่แพ้กันเลยไม่ว่าจะเป็น Management Marketing Finance หรือ Logistics นะคะในส่วนของทุนการศึกษาค่ะมหาลัยเชฟฟิลด์เนี่ยมีทุนส่วนลดสูงสุดถึง 25% เลยทีเดียวสำหรับน้องๆที่ชอบทำกิจกรรมกับทางมหาลัยนะคะบอกเลยว่ามหาลัยนี้เนี่ย Student Union เป็นอันดับ1มาถึง11 ปีซ้อนเลยค่ะถ้าน้องๆคนไหนนะคะสนใจและอยากรู้เพิ่มเติมเกี่ยวกับมหาลัยนี้นะคะติดต่อพี่ๆ Mango มาได้เลยค่ะ
Hi everyone, thank you very much for joining the sessions today. So I am Jasmine and I'm from the University of Sheffield. So for the sessions today, I will try to cover as much as I can. As you can see here that so I will talk a little bit about the university.And of course about the academic entry requirement, English requirements, what about our campus, where's the locations in England, what about the scholarships that we are offering and how to apply. First of all, that if we look at the universities as in overall, so according to the latest QS World Universities ranking, we're 95 in the world.And we are 17 in the UK. So we are one of the member of the Russell Group as well. So member of this group are committed to maintain the very best research, outstanding teaching and learning experience. And we're one of the top 50 most international universities as well. So at the moment, we attracted about 29,000 of students and we have 8,000 of them.They are international students and they're coming from 150 different countries. And this is according to the Times and Sunday Times Good University Guide 2020. We are one of the best universities in the North for England for producing employably graduates. So as you know just now that I mentioned about being a Russell Group University, so our teaching are research informed.So that would mean that a lot of those lecturers that were going to teach you, so they are the experts in the area and that most of them are also doing a research as well. So we are rated in the top 10% of the UK universities according to the latest research excellence framework. And during the assessments, 99% of our research was categorized as internationally recognized.So these are just entry requirements, but this is for undergraduate degree. As I'm aware of most of you guys here are postgrads, so I will just skip this slide. If not, you can just let me know. So this is entry requirements for our postgraduate courses. As you can see here that so we have a list of the students for category 1. And if I'm not mistaken, that,it depends on your institutions, but as I'm aware of most of the institutions that you're coming from, it's like Chulalongkorn University, Thammasat University. So most of them are within the category 1, so which means that we'll be looking at GPA 2.8 point entry. And this is the English requirement. So it may depend on the courses that you're looking for. But most of the management courses, data science courses, marketing courses, so they are overall 6.5, each component 6.0. So as you can see that we also accept other English tests as well. So if let's say that you are very confident that you're going to meet the minimum, so we can actually accept an IELTS academic. So unless you're thinking of joining a pre-sessional course, then I would suggest you to go for IELTS academic UKVI. Okay.And this is just to give you an idea that this is the 5 main faculties that we have. And these are just some of the departments that our universities are offering. And within each of them, they have a very specialized courses if you're looking for masters related. And these slides, I'm sure that is some things that most of our students are looking for. So if you look at the left-hand side, so these are the tuition fee, but this is just a very rough ideas on the minimum of the course that our universities, and this is the tuition fees for next year, September. It may really depends on the courses that you are planning to join. So, and if we look at the rental here, so these are the rental for 2021, because the 2022 it's not available yet, but they will most likely increase a little bit. 80% and above of our university's accommodations are en suite. So that means that you have your own single room, you have your own bathroom, and you only have to share the kitchens. So you can see that this is the price range, bill, electricity, Wi-Fi included. 51 week is a 1 year contract length, because if you're going to study master's courses, then you're going to stay from September to the following years of September. So you should go for 51 weeks. You will probably see on our university website, it says we have 42 weeks as well. So that's for a 9 months contract, and mostly for undergraduate students. Okay. And here I give you a little bit of differences that, you know, if you would like to go for bigger types of room, or even if you want to go for studio, yes, we have it as well. But if you prefer the cheapest options, so we have the room, which is still a single room, just that you share the bathroom and also the kitchen. So this is the price range, depends on the locations that you choose. Okay. So on the right hand side, this you can see that according to the UK government, they actually estimates around £1,023 per month. So if we break it down into the list here, so to give you a little bit more kind of details that you know what you actually need, right? So if we go for above average types of room, so if we look at rent £650 per month, right? So if you try to calculate from here, right, you will usually spend lesser than £650. So, and as I mentioned, bill, electricity, Wi-Fi already included here. So the rest of the expenses is actually for your food or any additional things that you know you will need. So food here, we estimate about £200 per month. Most of our students, if you cook on your own, they usually spend average about £20 to £30 per week if you cook on your own. Okay, so here, as you can see, that we estimate roughly £50 per week. So that's a bit, I would say, a lot extra if you cook on your own. But if you like to have a mixture of eating outside as well, that's definitely sufficient. And in terms of transportation, that's £100 per month. If you stay universities on campus accommodations, you don't usually need to transportation for classes because it's all within a walking distance. I'll show you the map later on. So for these transportations is really some things that you use in additions, like you want to go to other places, you want to visit your friends in other city, then yes, you will need this. And if we look at mobile phone, £20 per month, so that's also actually a lot estimate here. Most of students, they only need like £5 to £10 per month, and that would be sufficient because in your accommodations, you already have the Wi-Fi. In most of the university building as well, you can use the university's Wi-Fi. Even within, you know, those area walking around, you have the Wi-Fi as well. So it doesn't really need much of data, but £20 can actually go for some things like even a contract. So that's a lot. And for others, sorry, my place is a bit noisy. And for others here, so that could be some things like you want to spend on stationaries or anything that you need. So as you can see, this is like an estimate by the government for 9 months, but most of our students, they tend to spend less than £9,000. It could even go over to £7,000 or £8,000. Right. So now I'm going to talk about a little bit about our campus. So this is the map that you can see that we are a city university. So if we use this roundabout as our directions, if you are going to study, I would say most of the courses I would say is within this surrounded by this roundabout. We have 2 24 hours library. One of them is at the Diamond building here. We have another 24 hours library at Information Common here. As you can see that the walking distance 3 to 5 minutes. It's really close. Depends on whether you need to cross the road. So 3 minutes will be sufficient. And if you choose to stay at our city accommodation, so these few buildings that you can see here, this is our city accommodation. As you can see, there's really close here. And if you want to walk a bit further down here, which is Western Bank Library. So this is a public library. So we have a total of 3 libraries within the campus. And the other building that I'm sure that you will be very familiar, which is our student union. So most of the support services or like cafeteria, so it's also within student union. So this is if you're walking from the Diamond building, so that's about 5 to 7 minutes, I would say. Okay, so everything can be actually within a walking distance. I would say 10 minutes, even if you would like to go to a city center on your right hand side. But for those that who would like to study marketing courses or management courses related, your management school is here. Okay, so this is actually going up hills to the management school. So Sheffield is very hilly. So be prepared that you have to walk a lot up hills and down hills. Okay, and these are just some of the pictures. And this is the Western Bank Library connected to our Arts Tower here. It's a very popular Western park. And next, this is the student union. Okay. And this is our information common, which is one of the 24 hours library. And this is the Diamond building. So just to let you know that this is for our library. So we have all the books here, of course. But of course, if you prefer a digital versions, we have everything as well. So our transitions during the pandemic, I would say that they've done quite well. We have all the books here in the digital version as well. So our students, they don't have any problems, even though that time they were not able to fly over, they have to access from home, they were able to do that as well. Okay, so I'm sure that this is some things that you should be familiar with, that we are #1 student union in the UK. And it's already in the past 11 years in a row, we're still #1. And we have more than 350 clubs and societies that you can join. That would also means that, you know, the supports that you're going to get, I would say is quite, you know, this is a lot. It's whether, I mean, it really depends on whether you need it or not. So the supports should, you know, usually that reach you, I would say, from the moment that you receive an offer letter. So giving you examples that, you know, when you receive an offer letter, then they will have a lot of virtual sessions for international students, especially. Then you will see that whether you want to join, whether you want to speak to someone from the departments, or you actually prefer to join some of the session, which is more on related to career. So you have those as well. Even until I would say within a month before you go over, our intake is only in September. So before you go over, you would like to actually speak to someone which is from your country. So we have our Thai societies. So they will usually organize like a pre-departure briefing as well for you guys. And then, you know, it's more towards like current student sharing their experience and sharing about information on what you have to do, what you don't have to bring, what's advisable. So those are the things that, you know, the supports that for you actually start quite early. And even when you go over, for example, like last month that our students, most of them went over last month. When they went over, you know, because a lot of them, they will need to either do the hotel quarantine or they have to quarantine in their hostel, right? So they were not able to join the general kind of activities organized by the university. But there's a lot of activities organized by the clubs and societies. And what they were doing is they actually host like a walking tour around the campus and ask them to join. You know, whenever that they finish their quarantine, then they can actually join them to do a tour so that they know that, you know, where they can go for their grocery, where they can do their shopping. And as you can see that, you know, the supports continue when you actually go over. And yeah, you just need to, you know, speak to someone and they will be there to actually help you and guide you what you should do. So this is our university's accommodation. So we guarantee the accommodation for the whole durations of your studies. So my advice is, if you would like to choose which apartment that you want to stay and which floor that you want to stay, then the earliest that you can submit your accommodation application is actually starting from mid-March. But you need to make sure that you have already accepted the offer, then you can apply for the accommodation. So you apply mid-March to May, then you can self-select the room, and you can even have a look at what are the rest of the students that have chosen the same floor, because you can provide the biography and you can read through their biography as well. But if you apply after May, you can still apply, don't worry. It's just that you cannot self-select the room anymore. You can put in the 3 choices of your accommodation. They will allocate based on that, and it is guaranteed. So you don't need to worry that, oh, sorry, the accommodation is full. You need to look at the place on your own. So it never happened to us because we have too many choices. And the green color here, it's something that to show you the locations of the accommodation. So just now I mentioned about the city accommodation, which is closest to most of the, I would say, campus services, closest to your classes as well, and also close to the city center. But if you prefer, to stay away from the city center, you prefer more greenery and more quiet places, then you can choose to stay at Rammer and Cliff as well. So if you stay here and if you want to walk to the city center, the walking distance could be about 25 minutes of walking distance. But of course, you have the options to either go by buses as well. So it really depends on what options that you prefer. And this is just a very typical types of room that you will see. So the bathroom is actually at the other corner. So you just have to share the kitchen. And this is about the city. So I'll just show you the map. So we are quite in the middle of England here, as you can see. So the closest international airport will be Manchester Airport. And we usually have like a pickup services at Manchester Airport that pick you up to Sheffield. That's about 45 minutes away. But if you take a train, it depends on the train, whether you are taking a direct train or you're taking a train that you will need to change like a transit. But usually it could take a maximum of 1.5 hours if you take the train that with the transit. So from London to Sheffield, that's about 2 hours away by train. So Sheffield is actually the 4th largest city in England, and we're actually one of the very creative cities. And it's also one of England's safest major city as well, and top 10 most affordable student city, which is why that just now that I mentioned that most of our students, they actually spend less than what estimated by the government, because the expenses is cheaper. And with the very sufficient accommodation as well, that as you can see that the price of the rental, they will not be like really high because they have sufficient accommodations for students. And in terms of the supports and scholarships that we have for students, so these are the supports that I would say is that which is available to you when you actually join the university. Okay, so if we look at the Student Advice Center, so you will have quite a number. So this is actually located within the Student Union building that we saw earlier. So they have all sort of different kind of advice center there as well, whether it's related to your immigrations or whether it is related to your mental health. So it's all within the Student Union building. And we also have this student skill development. So as you can see that it will help you with a numbers of workshops, and if you prefer, to learn a little bit more on the maths and statistic help, because if you are a master student, because you will have the dissertation, which in most cases that you will do a research. So this is to actually prepare you, to help you to, to cope with your works later on better. And they also have this research hub, skill resource bank that you can actually access to as well. And most importantly, university health services. I think one of the examples that you will say here at the moment that the students benefit from it, it's the vaccines, I would say. For those that who are not, they were not able to get the vaccines from their country, so they just need to actually walk in directly to these, and then they can have the vaccine done as well. And at the moment, I think the universities are doing their best in terms of like, a number of students told me is that they were able to get the rapid test kit like free of charge because they actually distribute a lot to the students there as well. You know, whenever they have any big events, so they will distribute those free kits for the students to test on their own. And they encourage the student to test twice in a week. And all those, you know, they have a center for the test as well. So the student doesn't really need to spend extra money, you know, just to do the test and keep them safe on campus. And for this, I'm sure that it's very, very related to you. It's actually our postgraduate career support. So as you can see that I put it here, start your career planning early on because you're going for a master's courses and which is only a 1-year program, only a 1-year program. So it starts September. And as you can see that, you know, last month they started their classes, but they already have like job fair, career fair this month and next month. So that kind of sessions per month, right? So you should refer to this career calendar. So it's actually on our website here on top right here. You can even access now. Okay, so you can roughly have an idea that, oh, you know, every month what they're going to have, so you won't miss those events. And here you can see that what career activities can I work on before you join us. So this is even started before you join us. So you can actually do a motivation checklist and see that, you know, a planning form as well. So action plan. So this is to guide you, you know, from the very beginning and to the end as well. And our career support not only ended when you finish your master's, you can still have access up to 3 years after you graduated as well. Okay. And so they will be having a website, Career Connect. So you can only access to this when you actually join us. So you'll be able to see that a list of the jobs available, and you can even make appointment, a one-to-one appointment with them as well if you'd like to speak to them. And this going global is actually some things that I would say is that you can see that they have a lot of information, which is more than 120 locations. Just last week, I heard from a current student that she was able to look at some of the vacancies which is related to her in her home country, or she's planning to apply some of the jobs which is in other country. So this is a very resourceful kind of, I would say, initiative by the university, and this is only available for students. So example that while you are there, but you would like to start looking at jobs in your home country or other countries, then you should refer to this going global. So this should be also something that you should familiar with if you are planning to study in the UK next year, September. So it's called Graduate Immigration Road. If you're going to join a master's courses, you can apply like a work permit up to 2 years. If you are joining a PhD, you can apply like a work permit, which is lasted about 3 years. So this is actually goes live, just started this 1st of July this year, which means that you get a work permit first, you get a work visa, and then you can look for any jobs that you like. Okay, and you can see here that you should only submit the application after you have already notified by the university, because the university will need to inform the UKVI first, so that then your application will be successful. Okay. And here it says that if you're granted a graduate visa, so you can do any work, you can study as well. But for this, of course, it depends on what kind of studies that you like to go for. Like, for example, a part-time or a short-term, which you don't really need a student visa, then you can study. Okay. And this is just to give you an idea as well how much that is going to cost you when you finish your study and you want to apply for this graduate work visa. Okay, so this is the charges that you will need to pay in order to apply for this visa. And this is the scholarships. So if you are going to join a master's program, you can see that this is actually for 2021. As I mentioned before, that the 2022 date is not out yet, but they will update the dates at this link here when it is available. So 25% of the tuition fee. So you just have to make sure that you apply before the deadline, and then they will announce by June. So by that time that you will then get to know that whether you get the 25% or not, okay? And another scholarship, I think this is still pending approval. It's actually for those students that if let's say you apply for 25%, but you didn't manage to get it. So there is a chance that you may be able to get an automatic scholarship as long as you accept your offer before the deadline. So you don't need to apply for this. But as long as you accept the offer before the deadline, then you will get like an automatic scholarship. So you either get the 2,000 or 2,500 pound, or the maximum will be 25% if you are joining postgraduates. For undergraduates, they offer 50% because undergraduate usually the duration is longer, which is like 3 years or 4 years. And if you're undergraduate students, then you should note down this website here because they have very, very cost-specific informations here that you will find each of the department. You can know what are the modules that you're going to learn, and you can know that what are the other activities which is available. And if you would like to actually have a chat with our current students, so you should actually use this website, and you can filter in terms of the course of studies, or you prefer to filter from the country where they're coming from. You can actually have a chat with them online from our website. And if you are a master's student that you're going to join us next year, masters, these are the on-demand video that I would say for each of the courses. But don't worry, if let's say that you prefer to join a live session, right? I have just checked just now. I can confirm that it's online sessions, which you will be able to join, I think, late November. So you should just click on visit here on our website. Then you'll be able to see the open days. And it's in late November, so you can actually join. So if you have specific questions that you want to ask the department, so those who are joining the sessions, there will be a direct staff from the department. So it could be your lecturer, or it could be your the director of the program. So you can ask them the specific questions to your courses. And how to apply, I'm sure that your counselors here that they will be able to guide you on this. For undergrad, they apply by UCAS. But for masters, that you just need to provide your documents to your counselors. They will be able to submit an application for you. And those students that who are looking for a number of the popular courses, so for example, I think some of them that I talked to just now, data science, management, all the management school courses, digital media society. So these are very, very, very popular. So they have this kind of timeline that you need to be note on. So example, now we are at stage B. So if you apply not later than end of next month, you'll be receiving decisions by 14 December. And then you have a deadline to accept the offer and pay £1,000 deposits. So if any of you are not self-funded students, but you are either applying for chevening, or if you are going to be sponsored by the government, so you will need to inform your counselor on this and then let us know. So we will then need to inform admissions while waiting for your sponsor letter. So we can ask them to extend the deadline for you. Okay. And this is my email address. So you can note down my email address, or you can note down my WhatsApp number. And if you have any questions, so now would be the time that you can ask any questions that you would like to ask.